Welcome to Blowing Solutions Wide Open, where we're talking about all things spiritual, as well as creating new systems in the area of healthcare, finance, government, education, new environmental practices, and anything that helps the planet or helps humanity. My name is Addie Halkin, and today I want to share with you guys a post that I recently watched. It was from a guy who did not reveal who he's working for. I think this was with good reason. He doesn't want to be sued. He doesn't want to be threatened. But I do want to share with you his ideas. So let me read this to you. He says that he distributes food. That's what he does for work. When I think of a food distributor, I think of, for example, like somebody who works for a company like Shamrock Foods. Again, I don't know who he works for, but that's what I think of. He says his company is happy to sell anyone food that can buy it at the prices that the grocery stores are paying. And he all but says those prices are significantly lower than what we're paying at the grocery store. No surprise there. He said the reason that this is not happening is that most people don't want the volume of food that the grocery stores are buying, obviously. Then he goes on to say, but if a bunch of people got together and they wanted to call themselves a grocery store and they pulled their money together for the products that they're already buying, he said that him and his company would be happy to sell to us. So I've never heard anyone offer that. I think that's a genius idea. Um, you know, look, I know that that sounds better on paper than what it would probably entail. I know that it would be a beast to organize something like this, but I think it's an idea that's worth exploring because I know a lot of us are participating in these corporate boycotts and blackouts. I am one of them. I think they're super important. I think they will be effective. But I have to admit that there have been multiple times I've thought to myself, we can't just black out permanently everything that we buy. And groceries are one of those things. They're just bare necessities, and we're going to have to buy them no matter what. And so I've thought to myself, what do we do if those running the show on this planet decide to manipulate and control the bare necessities even more than they are right now? If they decide to raise prices even higher to where we just can't afford it, or they're, cutting off food supply, or I don't put anything past any of them anymore. So, I've thought, what do we do about that? And I don't know, this could be kind of a crafty solution around that. It's basically cutting out the middleman and cutting out the big, grocery store corporations. And so, something to think about. I know that I personally am like practically a hermit most of the time. So there are days I go without ever talking to anyone. So I don't have like thousands of contacts. And I don't even know if it would take thousands of people, but I don't have, enough people that I could personally pull this together just myself. But a lot of you guys are socialites, or you maybe have a lot of work contacts or business contacts. So if enough of us came together, I know we could do something like this. I know that it sounds kind of far-fetched, but if we continue to keep doing what we're doing, we're just going to continue to stay on the path we're on. And as far as I can tell, that's not a real sustainable path. It's time that we really start exploring new ways of living and new ways of doing business. So the other thing that occurred to me is if we pulled together and did something like this, um, we could actually control the waste more. I've had personally a lot of jobs, and I've seen a lot of excessive waste. I'm sure some of you could, definitely vouch for that, whether it be that the owners and the managers were following laws, or they were being thoughtless or selfish or greedy. Whatever it is, I've seen an abundance of waste, especially I think in the United States. And if we started kind of working together, we could essentially, trim that back a lot. And I think that'd be really great for like our homeless communities and our food banks and things like that. So I see a lot of benefit to this. It's just the whole collaboration process is a bit daunting. But if you're somebody that feels like you'd like to get involved with something like this, or you have a lot of resource, like you know a lot of people, or maybe you have like, I don't know, an empty warehouse or an empty garage, reach out to me at blowingsolutionswideopen@gmail.com. I did save the post of this guy. And so as long as that post stays up, I can communicate with him and, potentially pull something together. I don't know. Um, it's just something I wanted to throw out there. I certainly can't do it alone, but I do think that another thing about this that's really kind of appealing to me is I feel like a lot of the solutions and ideas right now that are coming out have to do with employee-owned businesses and employee-run businesses, and that's kind of what this reminds me of. So again, I see a lot of benefit, not to mention the financial benefit to all of us who decide to participate in something like this. But anyhow, that's all I want to say. I thought it was something that you might want to hear about. If you have any interest, you can also reach out to me in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Just an idea. Also, please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content or you want to get these kind of alternative ideas out to more people. I don't care if I'm the one that organizes something like this or what, but I'd love to see somebody do something with this. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care, guys.